everyone, this is Erica from Gokce Capital. Today we have a video called You Don't Want to Buy This, and it's a land investing due diligence case study. So we were recently looking at a property that came in through our pipeline, and it looked like a great property. We were really excited about it. It was located in Los Angeles County. It was a good 5 acres. As you can see from this image, there were some homes or structures in the area. Road access, again, as you can see from the image, and it was zoned residential. Perfect, it looked perfect. But as we always do, we still double checked everything. So I called planning, as is my usual process, and was actually told that new wells are not allowed in this area. Uh-oh. But that didn't really make sense since there were a number of structures in the surrounding area. So I decided to double check this by calling a title company, and the rep that I spoke with hadn't heard anything about difficulties with well permits in this particular location. Same thing with a broker who I called as well. So I called planning back, and I got a new rep who said, oh yes, wells are allowed. You just need to get a conditional use permit. So maybe a little more difficult than ideal, but certainly not impossible. All right, so we were back to thinking this was a perfect lot. But the planning rep continued. They took a look at the zoning and they said, well, you're fine under the old zoning classification, but we actually have a general plan that was created in 2015 and which actually designated this whole area as sort of an area that we're trying to limit development in. So lots have to be 20 acres in order to get a building permit. And that's much larger than this particular lot. So now we had another problem. But it still didn't really add up because there were homes developed in the area. All of the lots, I took a look at the plat map, and all of the lots in this particular area were definitely under 20 acres. They were maybe in the 5 to 8 acre range. So not only were there homes on 5 acre lots, but it also didn't really make sense that planning could enact a new plan that would essentially make every lot in that area unbuildable. So I read through the general plan itself, and there was a line there that more or less said existing legal lots are grandfathered in. That is, any legal lot that was already in existence at the time that the general plan came out would be allowed to put a one single family home on it. Okay, now that made more sense. But I like to triple check everything, so I called planning back. And I got another rep. And this rep did confirm that the language I saw in the general plan was correct. Existing legal lots are grandfathered in. Okay, so everything's solved. Except the rep then went on to say there actually is a moratorium on new wells. So I was back to the well issue. And I'd gotten so much back and forth on whether wells were allowed here that I just wanted to go to the source, because planning in this particular county does not have jurisdiction over well permits. So planning routed me to public health, which is fairly standard. In many counties, the public health or environmental health department regulates wells and septic systems. And public health said that yes, this is one of those unique areas in Los Angeles County where there were restrictions imposed on wells. So there was more or less like a water rights regime in effect. And that meant that if you wanted to drill, you needed permission from a water master who controlled water rights in the area. And they routed me to the Antelope Valley Water Master. I called them, And they told me, no, the lot is not in our jurisdiction. It is just in regular Los Angeles County. And there are no issues with wells in Los Angeles County beyond the typical permitting process. So after all of that back and forth, finally confirmed from the source that a well is okay. All right. So it seemed like a lot of back and forth just to verify what we could have seen from the map, that the lot was buildable. That's why there were homes in the area. The general plan was fine and the well was fine. So we sent an email to our seller to start the closing process. But right after I sent that email, I got a follow-up email from Los Angeles County Planning. And they just wanted to clarify that this lot was actually not legally subdivided. So that meant two things. One, under the general plan, because it's not a legal lot, it would not be grandfathered in. But more importantly, just in general, even if they had never created the 2015 general plan, because it's not legally subdivided, you can't pull any permits. So it's basically a lot you can't do anything with, at least until you try to make it legal. And so we had to go back to our seller and halt the sale, because as a lot that in its current form really could only be used for recreational purposes, we were going to pay too much for it. And so this is why due diligence is important, because it would have been so easy to have just said there are homes in this area, other people are building, this lot is probably buildable, and our buyer can figure out how to build. But we do like to triple check, so this is why it's important to do so. This is also why it's important to check yourself sometimes, because as you can see from this story, got a lot of conflicting information. So if I had someone else do the due diligence, they may have come back to me with incorrect information coming from their county sources. And if I hadn't thought to keep digging, we would have bought with invalid information. So due diligence is very important whenever you are buying land. And just quickly, if you are not familiar with us, we do buy and sell vacant land. We are Gokce Capital. You can find us at gokcecapital.com. You can also check out our listings and our land investing program. And we do have a couple giveaways on our homepage, which you can take a look at as well. Our free land giveaway is our most popular. So please feel free to leave us any questions or comment on this video. And thank you for listening, and more to come.